something. We haven't had an official release yet, but we will soon. So now I think we should take questions.
Oh, and why this conference is broadcasting on YouTube?
Yes, that's what I wanted to say.
Mm.
Because Daniel is not he's not coming today, so I decided to record it for him.
Okay, okay.
Questions? How about we take a minute for everybody to describe how their week went, what they were able to do, and what they wanted to do but weren't able to. Who will start?
So the week past was very tough for us. We've got a lot of tests, and we were facing a bunch of deadlines. So that is why our workflow now is a bit overflowed with much of work, and our progress with lexd and twol files is not as much fast as we were expected. So all that I was managed to do is to upgrade my lexd. And commit that an hour and a half ago, committed changes. I made corrections based on my based on the insights I was provided with a week ago on our last meeting, by our last meeting, and but nevertheless, when I try to compile it and run, even when I try to compile my lexd, I follow the error. I can share the actually. I can send the screenshot here or share the screen.
So I already have your file open here, and I see the error. And the reason for this is because of the syntax of tags. So you're providing multiple sets of square brackets, one for each tag.
Yeah.
That's not what, just completely arbitrary personal choice. We, when we wrote lexd, the syntax we chose is instead of multiple sets of square brackets, you use one set of square brackets and you put commas between the tags.
Okay, I've got it.
So if you just make it into one set of square brackets with commas between tags, I think then everything will be fine. And I will attempt to do that right now. And
but I know that the output won't be quite. It would be acceptable, but not at all, because it would generate a lot of. It would generate over data. So some sets of some strings will be copied. Will be represented twice in the output.
So so for now, for us, strings being present twice is okay. What's bad is if it generates incorrect forms. So we hope that it only is generating correct strings and giving correct matchings of analysis and form. If it provides that match twice, that's okay for us.
Okay, but as I haven't applied twol file yet to my generator, I will. So my output won't be quite correct.
That's also okay, but you'll need. Then that means that you we should. So your tests should be sort of representing exactly what you do want. and then we'll have to work on the twol in order to make the analyzer or generator actually recognize those forms.
Okay.
So, but the test should be perfect. They should be what you they should represent what will happen in an ideal world.
So in some terms of business, it should be a sort of minimum valuable product.
Exactly.
Okay.
I also
yeah.
wanted to think about so I think this is a more or less technical problem, and I think the easiest way to share this problem is to create an issue on your GitHub and put there. So you create in your repository, you create an issue, will describe everything and put there, so tag us and we will come and help you. I think this is the fastest way. It's not the fastest, but I think it's more or less convenient way to do this, because this is really, I think, this is really small detail, and I think just stop working because you have this small technical problem is not good strategy in the future, I think. So let's solve those problems this way. Or you can write to us, but I think it's better to create an issue in order other people can see it.
I absolutely agree. And in fact, I am a couple of times a week going through all the repositories and looking at all of the issues. And sort of checking whether I have any input on them. So I didn't finish sweeping today. But I did comment on a few of the issues. I opened one new issue, I think. So please sort of try to interact with this system as much as you can, and sort of as frequently as you can. And I think that this will hopefully remove lots of roadblocks.
Okay, we will try to interact as we can.
Great. I don't see any twol rules right now. Is that true?
Yes,
Yeah.
I haven't edited them yet and applied because
yes, for now it starts at 10:30.
Because I still got one phonological rule concerning yeah and yeah in the position in the middle of the word and at the start, but I haven't applied it.
Okay. Yeah, please. If you have a rule partially written, just upload it. If it doesn't compile, that's fine. Already the twol file that you have doesn't compile. So the more I can see, the more I can help.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Just put it in the repository, upload it. It doesn't matter if it's perfect or not.
So the thing is, I still not feel free in writing twol rules because I haven't mastered them in appropriate manner yet. But I'm up to. So yeah.
Open. So I recommend open an issue describing what you want to happen, and maybe providing some reference. And then at some point, one of us can go and look at this and make some suggestions for twol code.
Okay.
Okay. Who next?
I think nobody have done their twol rules.
Well, I did make a new rule actually, but I haven't been able to compile it yet because of an issue in my lexd. Me and Nick texted about it, so that's a work in progress, I guess.
Were you able just now to update your copy of lexd?
No, because I forgot my sudo password.
Oh no!
So no. But I have already Googled it, so I think I'll try to reset it.
Okay, good
and
luck.
then I'll try to update my lexd and I try to compile it again, and I'll see if my twol rule actually works. So
Great. Yeah, so I'm using the latest version of your repository now, and I'm able to compile your lexd. So that's why I think that the new version will help. And your 2L it fails. Oh, there's just I see. There's no rule yet.
really,
I don't see any rules.
maybe I haven't pushed it on GitHub. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna do it right now. So
Oh, then maybe the lexd problem also I haven't encountered yet.
okay,
yeah.
maybe. So I'm gonna try to.
In the meantime, Artyom for some reason removed everything from his repository. Am I right?
Probably that's just he changed the name of the branch.
Again, this story. Yes.
No, it's still on main.
Yes, but maybe Gardik is on master. What do you think?
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I see everything here still. So
So yeah, I think I pushed the new version of my tool file on GitHub, and I was able. Oh, it's a really simple rule. It's the vowels that we've been discussing the last time.
okay, I see the changes. It does not compile. Let me look at the code. So every 2L, so this is a very simple correction to make. Every 2L rule has to have a name, and the name is enclosed in double quotes. So let me just check here. Okay. Okay, so that wasn't the only problem. Also after the alphabet has to be a semicolon. And now it compiles. Okay, so just 1 second, and I will upload the version that I changed. Okay, I sent it to Telegram. I made a couple of changes and now it compiles.
Thank you.
No problem. Yeah, again, this is exactly the sort of thing that can be, that I can address like in the middle of the week just by looking at issues. Especially I have to figure out how to get to GitHub to email me more often. Okay, Dasha, probably, was that all of your questions for this week?
Yeah, I think so, because I haven't been able to do anything like more than that. Well, I mean, it's still not all the phonology that I actually need, even for the numerals, but but there's like this one massive phonological rule that is really hard to figure out for me, like how to actually formalize it. So yeah, that's not done yet.
Okay. You can also open an issue about this, just like how to handle this case, and we can sort of debate it with Gardik and myself.
Okay.
Then Artyom, let's see. You are on Botlich, yes. Okay. I don't see a make file still.
Well, I can upload it right now.
Okay. Oh yeah, if you have changes that you haven't pushed yet, please push them.
Okay.
Then I can take a look.
It just didn't change since the last meeting. You know, what you pasted and what I copied is still on the same
Oh, that's
way.
fine. I mean, getting it into the repository and upload it on Git is important because then I can easily check what's going on by just typing make and hitting enter. And this is very, very nice. I can write a computer program that does this like 10 times a day and just shouts at me whenever it doesn't work.
So it looks nice. Whether term does. But I still need to spend some time checking with the sources.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's I think that so far I have found that my biggest problem here is that I'm not able to read all the resources fast enough. I don't have time to do enough of this.
But I think the main problem with our terms code is that 100,010 and so on, it's
Mhm.
treated as a suffix again, not as a root itself.
Okay, I don't see an open issue about this. Maybe I'll create one. You said hundreds and thousands are treated as suffixes?
10, 100, and 1,000.
So I think I actually have one more question. So if I can.
Mm-hmm.
So are we gonna like add all the grammar to the same lexd file where we were like making the numeral system, or are there gonna be different lexd and HFST files for the different like parts of speech or like parts of the grammar or something?
So at some point, everything has to get unified because you have class changing derivations. So you need to be able to access the verb morphology from the noun lexicon, for example, because you might have some derivation which takes a noun and produces a verb.
Yeah.
And even worse, if you have if you have some interesting sorts of compounding or something like this, you might have to have both lexicons in the same file.
Yeah.
So in the end, we will probably end up with separate lexd files, but when we actually run to compile them, we will feed all of the lexd files to the lexd program at once, and it will generate one enormous transducer.
Okay, yeah, but for the work in progress, there will be different files, right?
Exactly, yeah, and the source code will always probably be in separate files.
Yeah, but I think we only need one twol file, right? Because the phonology like applies to all of the.
Right.
Why is it so?
Huh?
Why is it so? So is it? I think it's possible to have multiple. Ah, no, because there will be duplicates of this alphabet part and rules.
So the
I
so
think
there's
it's possible to split it into the parts, so you have alphabet and rules as a separate file, and then you can have separate rules files for a separate part of speech.
So this is sort of tricky. So remember how like what is the organization of the build process? First, you build the morphotactic transducer, and this takes analyses and produces morphotactics. So abstract realizations. After that, the twol rules are applied, and that's where you get actual forms. If you wanted to have different twol rules for different parts of speech, then that means that you have to have different morphotactic transducers for different parts of speech.
No. What I mean that you have one long 12 file, but split it to the rules that are connected to some part of speeches. Some of them are general, but some of them are.
Oh yes, that's true.
But after all, yes, I think. Yes, the 12 files should be one file at the end, but in the meantime, it could be split into any parts you want.
That's absolutely true. Yeah, there's no formal infrastructure for combining twol files. I wrote a script once in Bash that does it, but it's not something I recommend. So I would say that it's better to have just one giant twol file with all of your rules, and you can organize them in whatever order you want with whatever grouping you want. But in the end, that has to be one file, I feel.
Can you actually like apply the same twol file to different lexd files? Is that possible?
Well,
I thought the name of the file should be the same in order to. Or
To
it
match-
doesn't matter.
to match the make rules that we have, these
Yeah.
recipes which depend on the naming. Yes, that's right. But at some point we'll probably be making slightly more sophisticated rules for the lexd part, and for the twol it probably won't change.
Yeah.
It's all because of this fact that there's sort of a funnel. lexd acts as a funnel, so like a cone. You can have lots of different lexd files, but at the end they all have to produce one single morphotactic transducer. And this morphotactic transducer then has the twol rules applied to it. And you can't sort of split. You can theoretically split each lexd file into separate morphotactic transducers and then separately combine them with the same or different twol files as you like, and then union them. But this will be if you have interactions between parts of speech, for example, class-changing derivations, this is going to be really inefficient, and you'll end up with a much larger transducer than you want.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if that makes sense.
I think it does. Yeah. Thank you.
I can try to give some, like theoretically, I could try to give some explanation as to why you'll get such duplication and why, if you combine them all with lexd at once, you avoid this duplication. But it's sort of a very technical explanation, and I don't think it would be very interesting.
Yeah, no, I mean, the like just one twol file makes perfect sense to me. It's like seems like the best option. So if there's an easy way to do it, then great.
Okay.
We'll do it this way.
Other questions?
I think Dasha asked the question in a chat Friday about theoretical something for some meeting that they have with Asya.
Oh, in maybe 3 weeks, yes?
Something like that, yeah.
So there's a meeting with Asya in 3 weeks in which you're expected to explain the theoretical basis of this.
Yeah,
Okay.
and to give some sort of like the list of literature for the project or something like that.
And can I ask, so you probably don't know yourselves, but I'll ask the question. It's a question for you, and it's also a question for me. I wonder how broad of background you're expected to have. For example, we work with finite state morphology. Does it mean that you should know the history of finite state morphology? I feel yes. Does it mean that you should know about competing strategies to finite state morphology? For example, neural network strategies for morphological analysis. That also maybe seems
would
reasonable.
Be nice, yeah. Although it will be kind of like fake because we made no actual choices here. So it's not like we have actually like conducted an analysis of all the possible options and chose this one. But yeah, I think some background about like different strategies would be nice.
Okay, so I can dig up a handful of articles, and I guess that I would want to have some input from you on that. So I will definitely find some articles which are discussing applications to morphological analysis just as a task, but they will not have a lot of the technical background necessarily. So they will explain briefly, for example, what is a finite state transducer? I'm interested in whether you guys want to also see articles on like the material just purely about finite state transducers. For example, how does composition of finite state transducers work? And why is that useful for morphological analysis?
Well, I think a brief explanation would be fine by
Okay.
me.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, we should probably ask Roma and Dania, so I don't know.
Risk about what? Yeah, I also think that it would be nice for us to acknowledge some facts from these tutorials.
Mhm.
Yeah, but that also means we'll have to read all the stuff that we decide is useful for the background. So, yeah.
Yeah, so my question is, how much technical material do you want versus how much application?
Maybe I can be a filter for this.
By technical, you mean material provided with some technical details such as performance issues, improving performance, prepositions, or by technical by technical you mean manuals filled with formalisms, formulas, and so on.
I was referring to sort of computer science literature.
Mm.
So, right, this is a computational linguistics program. It's sort of a fusion between linguistics and computer science. And one of the questions that I have is this is for you to answer personally, I feel. How much do you want to learn about the NLP side of things? So that's more linguistics. Versus how much do you want to learn about the science behind it, the computational, the computer science part of it?
Oh, I don't know. Both are appealing. Both options. I mean, I.
So how about this? I'll provide this week some introductory material from both perspectives, and you can look it over and see what interests you and what you feel you don't understand well enough, like what you want. So both, what do you think you would like to learn more about, and what do you feel strikes you as important that you don't know enough about?
Okay.
And then I can provide more based on your reaction.
Okay.
Okay. Sure.
Great. So I think I'll try to provide maybe 2 or 3 articles from each perspective.
Yeah, thank you.
And I'll also I know already one article that I would like to show you on neural methods, and maybe after we look at that, we'll think about what else we want to see.
Yeah, okay. And we also need to pick the name, well, like the titles for the individual like parts of the project.
Individual parts of the project. What does it mean?
Well, it means that technically we all have like the what you call kursavae, the annual paper that we need to like finish by the end of the year.
Yes.
And we need a title for that, each one of us. Well, I think the title can be the same for the whole group, but it just depends on our choice.
It's one paper, yes? Or you each write a different paper?
No, I think it's one paper, but technically we all have like our own like projects, kind of.
So we still do not clearly understand what is it like. I mean, it's 100% that each of us three must make some contribution. Either if we speak about either one huge paper shared between three of us, or individual people, one per student. But it seems to me that more likely we would be tasked to come up with individual paper, but each will be referring to the same subject partly.
Well, I think I thought it was one paper, because like when we remember when we had to make these presentations about the last year project, so each group had one paper.
Okay.
So I guess
Actually, to make it more clear, I think I should open the message of our научник.
I think the term advisors of your papers are unique, and I think the term papers will be like applying lexd to X language, and the other thing that it's possible that all of you write the separate papers, not the one, because I think it's weird article applying lexd to Bagwal.
Yeah, because it will make more sense. I mean, our individual experience, writing about our individual experience. But I also don't know 100%. I don't know if it will be individual papers or the common.
I think I think your experience could be shared, but the papers could be separate.
So I can tell you what sort of my goals for the project are. Here's my dream. We build a essentially fully functional morphological analyzer, and we're able to make maybe 70% coverage of our corpora. So that means that the morphological analyzer has the capacity to recognize and analyze 70% of the words in a corpus, whatever corpus that that Gardik has procured for us. Either separately or together, we write sort of either as separate papers or as one paper. Altogether, we write about the design of these analyzers, and we submit it to a conference, and it gets accepted. And at least one of you has to fly or Zoom and present it at that conference. That's sort of the best possible case scenario for me, and I think it's sort of plausible at this point. That paper would, depending on how quickly things go, either that paper grows out of what you write for Nice, or that paper is what you submit as your Nice paper. So this saves a lot of effort. It gets you guys a publication. Maybe it even gets you some free travel. And Asya gets to say that another publication came out of Nice, which is like, I think, a major way that she can promote this to her, promote the computational linguistics master's program to the higher administration. So everybody is happy with that. So what does that look like? What does such a paper look like? I can send you some examples, but usually it starts off with a brief description of all of the languages involved. So maybe like 2 or 3 paragraphs, or maybe a little bit more. probably if we do one combined paper, we would have less. But each of you would be expected to write a brief description of the language, including sociolinguistic situation, that sort of thing. After that, we would introduce our. After that, there would probably be a shared section describing finite state morphology and introducing lexd as part of the toolkit that you used to design the analyzers. After this, you would introduce the corpora, and after that would be an experiment section in which we compare with some gold standard and analyzed, fully analyzed sentences, and also a corpus just to determine our coverage. I'll send you an example article in which we perform these analysis in like a sort of similar paper, and you can see for yourselves what this looks like. I think that's it. I mean, that's everything that you need for a nice first morphological analyzer for a language paper.
Okay.
Does that clarify? Like, does that provide any clarity?
It seems very clear and logical and useful. So, and I reread again and the message sent from our leader, and yeah, that's right. We should come up with theme together. It should be shared among three of us, so it would be common. So as paper, the paper, the theme at the paper, the theme dedicated to. I mean paper that dedicated to theme. It could be common. But also as we have different projects, I mean our colleagues from group, there is also an option to formulate the individual theme and to write individual work, individual paper. It also an option, but I think in our case it will be a huge paper that a huge paper written that three of us write. Four, right?
It says four people. Yeah. So personally, I feel that the default for NICE should be that there's just one paper that everybody writes together. For one thing, it's much easier to write a paper if you have other people to work with on the paper. Also, you guys will be able to share a lot of the content of this paper, and your experiments are all going to be, from a technical standpoint, the same. They're just going to be using different data. And so that having to write just one time to explain the experiments is also useful. So I think that it makes more sense to write one paper. I agree.
Yes. So the details of like the process of creating the analyzers should not actually be included in the paper, right? So it's just like, well, we built it, and here's how it works on such and such corpora, kind of like that.
Yeah, there will be some part where you want to describe what went into building it, and maybe at that point it's interesting to say it's interesting to describe something about lexd, and but sort of like what is the point of lexd? But I don't think that this is an important focus here. lexd for us as a tool, it's not itself sort of the research project.
Yeah, sure, but I meant more like the linguistic analysis of like what was hard to describe or to like I don't know, some characteristics of the language systems that don't fit well into the finite state approach or something like that.
I think this is absolutely reasonable to discuss.
Oh,
I'm
well,
not
yeah,
sure.
we'll get to that. Whatever.
No, I mean in the paper, I think it's absolutely reasonable to have that be part of the paper.
Yeah. Okay.
Implementation challenges and what was easy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure that all corpora and all morphological analyzers will be comparable with each other. So we'll get some number, but the corpora depth from the different worlds, the morphology of these languages is from different groups and so on. This could be tricky. So from Nick's perspective, it sounds like, okay, we get numbers and then we're happy, but actually I'm not sure that those numbers are fully comparable.
Well, if you say that this analyzer analyzes 70% of a text, that's important not because it tells you objectively how good the analyzer is, but rather it tells you what is the state of this technology compared to, for example, the same technology for English or for Avar. Or I mean, maybe a better comparison would be for I don't know, Georgian or Armenian, something like this, where there already exists sort of relatively serious analyzers, and it makes sense to ask the question: how close are we to complete? How close are we to being able to use this for language technology purposes? Instead of just as a sort of aid for field linguists.
Okay.
I mean, so yeah, you come at this from a very different perspective from me. I'm thinking about submitting this to computational linguistics conferences, and I don't know what I'm definitely open to the idea of framing something for a different venue, but I just don't know enough about other venues to speak with authority and say, I know what will get this paper accepted. If you have ideas on that, I would be happy to discuss them, and maybe we'll come up with something more field-oriented and less hard computational linguistics oriented. But we can think about it.
We will also discuss it today with Dasha and later, and yeah, and I mean elaborate some ideas on that, and maybe bring something in addition to. But we still, I mean, both of us still like your plan.
Okay, good. Sorry, making some notes.
Yeah, I also wanted to ask what our plans for today are, because I think I have to leave at 5 something. So
Okay. So I can tell you what's left. I briefly wanted to mention that these features that you were asking for in lexd for matching tags. So like there were these rows where there was one where the tag was repeated, and then you chose a different tag and you repeat that, and that sort of thing. So there's some new features which allow you to do this. I guess that I would refer you to the instead of spending time discussing it, maybe I'll refer you to the usage file. And if that doesn't show you how to
sent us by email, like the last email that you sent.
Oh, that's very possible. Let's see. So I sent some example. So this was example using the older, this is an example using the sort of more classical features. And I sent some new features, and so the new features are not discussed there, but I will try to type the address of this usage file from memory.
Right, it's on the Pertium part page on GitHub. So
Yeah, maybe I let's see if I type this correctly. Yeah, I typed it correctly from memory. That's great. Yeah, so it's discussed there. Let me know if that doesn't, if the examples there are not clear enough. The particular one that I wanted to advertise are, sorry, just one second. These union and symmetric difference examples. So yeah, now I'm looking at it and I see that I don't feel that this is it's very obvious how this helps you. Okay, so I'll add that as an item that I have to fix. Something that I have to do. I will write a more clear example of this. Okay. So that covers that maybe. Tests and testing. So was everybody able to write down a list of analysis form pairs?
No, sorry.
Okay.
No, I also did not quite clearly understand this subject. I mean, we have the lexd, the HFST, no, the lexd, the twol file. I mean, the lexd, the tool that generate potentially all potential possible forms, the twol that restricts its appearance, and I mean, finally, we compile the analyzer, revert it, and get the generator.
Vice versa. You compile the generator and convert it to get the analyzer. But yes.
Yeah, and invert it to get the analyzer. And I mean what place our tests hold here? I mean, I mean we test our analyzer.
You're going to be, so what I sent you was testing the analyzer, but we're also going to be testing the generator, and we'll do that in a couple of different ways. But it seems that we're sort of not quite ready to do this.
So both generator and analyzer are testable.
Yes. So the generator you test by giving it a gloss and asking it what is the form, and what are the possible forms. The analyzer you test by giving it a form and asking it what are the possible analyses, what are the possible glosses. There are other strategies that you can use. For example, attempting to, so you might have a gloss which is not recognized by the generator. You can ask it what's the closest gloss that it does recognize, or what are the closest 5 glosses that it does recognize. Similarly, if you have a form and the generator does not recognize it, or it produces, the analyzer does not recognize it, or maybe it produces the wrong gloss, you can ask it to, you can do some sort of Levenstein distance kind of tricks to figure out where are things going wrong? Why is the combinatorics not correct, or why is the morphophonology not correct here? So these are debugging tools which should be run every time that you're making a change to either your lexd or your twol, and they're sanity checking that you didn't break something.
Right.
So I don't know if you guys have had some programming classes. I don't know if you've heard of this phrase, test-driven development.
I heard about it, but I mean, I clearly understand the motivation and purpose of all its approaches, all approach you described, but I don't understand what appearance our tests have. have got. I mean, is it something? Is it look like text? What extension these files have?
The one that I sent in the example was just .txt, just a text
TXT.
file. Yeah, it's a call. It was so what I sent was the format was it's a text file. Each line is a pair separated by colons. Analysis. The first item in the pair is a form. The second item in the pair is a gloss.
So and respectively, the gloss on the first place and the form if we test generator.
Right.
All right. Okay. So looks quite simple. I mean, some text files that we feed to.
You remember this FST to strings program?
Yes.
In some sense, you can think about this FST to strings program as being some as producing some table of all the recognized pairs. And here we're just putting in a golden subset of those pairs. That's manually written. That's one way to think about this. Another way to think about it is that there's some many-to-many relationship between forms and glosses. And right, every form could have multiple glosses, and there could be ambiguity in there could be sort of multiple forms associated with a single gloss also. That happens sometimes. This is giving the FST2 strings program spits out a table essentially, which is maybe not the best representation of this, but well, sorry, I lost what I wanted to say about this. The point is that you want to check on each side. You want to check that for every analysis you're not getting any incorrect glosses, and you are getting the correct gloss. And the same thing for glosses to forms. Sorry, I think I used the word analysis and gloss. I wanted to use the word form and gloss. Every
word form and gloss. All right.
Yeah. So every word form should be assigned the correct possible glosses and no more. And every gloss should be assigned the correct set of word forms and no more. And so those are sort of the two patterns of checking that we want to be doing here. Yes, I don't think I want to say anything more right now about that.
Okay.
So I hope that for next week, you'll all have one of these text files in your repository that looks just like the text file that I sent in this email. It's called in this email. It's called testnumbersgold.txt. And I also attached there a script that that does a couple of the fundamental idea behind this script is that it takes. I said that this text file is a list of pairs separated by colons. This script takes the first item of the pair. So in the example that I sent, those are word forms, and it restricts the analyzer to analyzing only those word forms. It then asks for all possible analyses of those word forms. Using FST2 strings, it prints out all recognized pairs, but it's on the restricted analyzer, so that it's restricted to only recognizing the forms that you included in your tests. It then compares with your gold standard. So that's why this That's why this gold standard, this text file, looks like the output of FST to strings. It's so that you can perform this comparison. I guess that we will talk more about it next time.
And can we maybe look at these testing materials, inputs and outputs in some repositories?
Inputs and outputs of what? Sorry, I didn't quite follow.
I mean, what test file txt input looks like, txt input to be tested, and I guess HFST output, where the results of tests are placed.
This should all be in the email that I sent.
Email?
Yes.
Yeah, I heard about it and checked my inbox, but
Maybe
yeah, that's what I was thinking all along while you were explaining that. I think we actually have no such email from you.
no, this is terrible. Okay.
Like no files are attached. I mean, you sent us the like.
There's no files. It's all in the body of the email. Yeah.
No, I mean, I think there's no email with attached files at all.
Yeah,
There's
but
It's just the
didn't
text.
attach any files.
Yeah, there's no files to attach. I sent you just like, it's in the text. It's a plain text email. It's in the body of the email.
Oh.
And like, so you
So
see.
that's okay. So wait a sec.
So yeah, there's some code in there and it tells you sort of there's this, okay, now I have to figure out how to do something funny in Telegram. Okay, well, I know what I can do. I can just put this onto wget paste. Paste bin this. Yes. Okay. And then I can send this to you. Okay, so here's some snippet from that email. So there's these three ticks, these back ticks. They're like single quotes, but they sort of lean backwards. And then after that is the name of the file that I expect you to save this to. So here, if you click on that link that I just sent in Telegram, you'll see three backticks and then rus-num-simple.lexd. And what it means is that everything between the three ticks, all these lines between the three ticks, you're supposed to save into a file with that name. And then later there's another file, test numbers gold.txt. And then below there's a test script called compare.sh. And then below I have some, there's a slightly different kind of thing, just a second. In this second link is some shell command that you're supposed to run using those files. And that will let you test how everything looks. And below that, I have some output from actually running this test. So sorry, I didn't realize that that this syntax wasn't something that you recognized yet. I've used it a bunch of times, but maybe like nobody has ever actually been forced to think about it before. So now you are forced. I hear silence, and I'm wondering whether I was understandable or not.
So you sent two two snippets to us. On the first, I can see lexd file with patterns and lexicon described. And on the second, I can see the compilation lexd to HFST, the compilation of analyzer, and then bash script, compare bash script, has got the task to compare the result of the input of the output of the analyzer to our goal test numbers goal text contents.
Yes. So those are the 3 commands you run, and they use the files that are above, described above. So
File described above. I mean,
yes. So do you see where compare.sh is the contents of compare.sh are given?
yes. Compare sh is the file where script is written.
Yes. And then and then I give you also the contents of test numbers gold. So you have to create these files and copy paste. Those files.
And where the test now?
Where's test numbers gold?
I mean, we should write it by ourselves. It's okay. Test numbers gold. I mean, that's basically is our task to combine
yes,
it.
For your own language. Right. Your task is for your own language to write your own test numbers gold.
Yeah.
But I wanted you also to see what is going to, like, what is the whole plan, and so I sent you this example for Russian, like simplified example for Russian.
Maybe the lexd is too hard to understand for me. I see digit nah.
Yeah, so that's another thing. Gardik pointed out that I haven't discussed what this parenthesis number.
No, I can recognize in this pattern teams some sort of regular expression syntax.
Yes.
So we choose between digit 1, digit or so in parentheses we choose one between one option from 2, then concatenate it optionally with na.
So sorry, the square brackets here mean some literal text. So this is a lexicon entry.
Yeah.
Without
right.
actually declaring a lexicon.
Wait, man, what square brackets?
Here, I'll try to type on this computer.
So in square brackets, we place the text that we want to represent as it is. So the interpreter do not process it. It just plays it savings form. We claim here.
Yes. So in a pattern, by default, all you're able to do is reference other patterns and lexicons. And if you don't want to, so I could have just made sort of some special lexicons for each of these things that's in square brackets. But that's that's sort of ugly. It's sort of too much work. And so if you want to declare, if you want to use a lexicon only one time, then you can just put it inside of square brackets inside of this pattern. So you see here, there's 2:2. This means that here we'll go a lexicon entry whose analysis side is 2 and whose surface side word form is 2. So it's just as if you had written a lexicon whose entry who had only one entry, and that entry was 2 on the analysis side and 2 on the word form side.
So in this, lexd generates after compilation. We can generate teens, but before teens, it generates digit 1 in parentheses.
So the 1 in parentheses means that it's referring to the first column in the digit lexicon. And the 2, if there's a 2 there, it means that it will refer to the second column. And you can see that I just used this as an easy way to stem the digits. So the first column is the nominative form and the sort of analysis form, the lemma, and the second column is the stem.
Yes.
And so this digit 1 here means that it has no colon in it. So it means it takes both the analysis and surface side from the first column. If you look down in teens, you'll see that this first term has digit 1 colon digit 2. And that means that it takes the analysis side from the first column and the surface side from the second column.
Mm-hmm. And why we declare the digit 2 beside lexicon? I mean, lexicon is something like both patterns take in use. Why we should mention 2?
The 2 means there are 2 columns. That's all.
Columns. Sorry, I mean, it should just take some time to understand. I mean,
that's fine. That's why we're having this discussion, so that we can understand what the syntax means. So maybe I can ask you, what does this pipe symbol mean here? You see there's a pipe, the vertical bar in teens. What does that mean?
It means that we can choose only one option of these 2.
And what are the 2 options?
2 options. It's the writing два две, or I mean
Or something that's not tagged as irregular in the lexicon.
Yes. And how is that something from the lexicon chosen? Aside from, so I get rid of all of the irregular ones. That's correct. And then how do I choose the analysis and the surface?
Два две is just the exception from our.
Два две there is the exception. That's right.
I mean, but so the pipe symbol is I mean, mark the section where the exceptions will be listed, right?
Yes, for example.
But why do we do so? I mean, firstly, we exclude all irregular forms, and then say, oh, our only irregular form, let it be here. But on the previous step, we exclude all irregular forms. I mean, it looks a little bit irrational because we have only one irregular form stated. But for example, if we have something like add in addition to in our lexicon with 2 columns, and it also has irregular lemma, then if we state that we exclude all irregular forms and list only два две in exceptions, our very last example that we append to our lexicon won't be generated. Is it right?
Sorry, I didn't quite follow. Say it again.
My question was I was to ask why we should, what sense it makes to exclude all irregular forms from the output and then claim dva две as the exception.
Because it is the unique exceptional form, right? I've sort of honestly stemmed all of these, all of the digits, right? For example, suppose that you want to implement tens also. So I have 10, I have 20, I have 30. Okay, I have 40. So that should be, if I wanted to add tens, then I would have another irregular form, a different kind of irregularity. 50, right? I'm always using the stem here. 50 doesn't have mякий знак in the middle. So this has to disappear.
Yes,
So I have to use the
yes.
stem.
Oh, it does though.
No, 50, yes, it has.
50 has mякий знак in the middle.
Yes, 50 has it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then it doesn't make sense what I did. I agree. And all of them are like this.
14,
Yes,
14,
they are.
11, 6,
Okay.
60 also has.
Okay, so then maybe it doesn't make so much sense to stem these. Maybe you're right. But still, I have 20 and not
Yes.
20. And so I have to somehow handle that for teens, dva behaves irregularly. And for tens, it does not. And
Yes.
so, when I want to write down teens, I have this pattern, and I have some digits that don't follow this pattern. So the idea is that I write down the general pattern, and I make sure to exclude the exceptional cases, so that they don't try to follow the regular pattern. Right? If I got rid of this tag, you can't see my mouse. If I get rid of this irreg tag, this minus irreg tag in teens, then I will get 12. And nobody wants to see 12. 12, I don't know. I can't pronounce it.
No, it was okay. I was just
well,
laughing at
Yes,
nobody.
well, I mean, it's not a word, so I can't guess how to pronounce it. So I have to exclude this, because otherwise I'm going to
Yes.
end up with an incorrect form. And then I do want to have something which analyzes as 2 combined with 10. I need to have this. I need to have some analysis for 12. I need to have 12 in there, and so I have to add that back in by hand. So it's somehow expressing that there's a general pattern. Some guys don't follow it. Get rid of them. I'll handle them specially because they're exceptional. And this 2 is me handling it by hand.
I think I finally get it.
Yes, me too.
And so maybe an exercise for you is to, well, I think one thing you can do definitely, you still need to stem because it's 14 and not 14. Okay, so
And I also don't get what the plus sign means in the triangle brackets.
It's just a gloss. It's just a gloss.
For
Yes.
what exactly?
To indicate that you add.
Okay.
It's 4 plus 10, not 4 times 10.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, and then for if you implement tens, you might have 20, and you might write it with a star in angle brackets or something like this. Just something to indicate. I don't know. Garik is probably more an expert on this than I am, but the point is that it should be understandable what the gloss actually means.
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay.
Like if you have just 2 different ways to write Chitiri combined with Diesit, well, with this it's not. Oh no, actually it's interesting. So you have Chitirnitsit and you have Sorik, and they will both analyze as Chitiri somehow compounded with Diesit. And it's important to have some sort of indication of, like, in the analysis, in the gloss, what the difference is between these. Garik, you agree?
But I think your example will be 15 and 50, because Surik is.
Sorry. Okay, so you're right. So yes, you shouldn't analyze. Right, that's right. That's not morphological analysis. Thank you. Okay, so does it make more sense?
Excuse me.
Yes.
No. I don't have a question, but I did not hear. I mean,
My question is, does the syntax of this file make sense now?
yeah.
At least you
Yeah.
understand what the goals are. Like what is sort of vaguely what is happening. So maybe I would suggest as an exercise for next time to implement tens. And also you can correct my mistake, right? That I have all of these.
To the Russian lexd file that we're making.
Yes.
Okay. What I mean, have we actually created the numeral lexd file for the Russian? We have, right?
Did you create all of it though? Did you already? So I mean, you probably haven't done it using tags, I guess.
I think we didn't do it at all. I mean,
okay.
I probably didn't.
Okay, well then it's fine. So so take this file and add support for tens. You'll have to add some new kinds of exceptions, right? Because there are numbers combined differently to make tens than they do to make teens.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
And you can also correct the mistake that I made by getting rid of all mякkie znaks.
So we have the text files for the analysis correction and for the comparison.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have the numerals, and then we also have the articles, right?
Yes, maybe that sounds like a lot, doesn't it?
Kind of.
Okay.
Yes, but we didn't. So I actually have this file for the next time, and I think reading articles is not to the next time. It's to the meeting after the meeting.
Okay then.
Sounds reasonable.
And for the next time, I think we need to discuss tests again, or
I agree.
because you will. Yeah. So yeah, maybe something like this.
Yeah, sort of if I feel that it's important that you, so what I would like you to do is, I would like you to write these test files and I would like you to check them using this script that I sent. So I sent this example for how to do it with Russian, and you should be able to do exactly the same thing, but for your own test file.
Yeah, okay.
And it will be very interesting to see the results. So let's have some brief review of what we're doing for next time. So
I have it.
You have it. Oh, great. Are you writing it in somewhere?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, great. Then we don't need to review that. So that's all that I wanted. I finished what was on my agenda. Then I think the meeting is fast in record time. Right? I think we've met for 1 hour and 30 minutes. Does anybody have any more questions? Thoughts?
No. I haven't got the questions. Any questions in advance? I need to do something before I came up with that.
Yeah, same.
Okay, well that's perfect then. I think that means that we've done everything that we could today, and I mean, so now we will have lots of capacity to do things during the week, and then hopefully you'll all find nice problems to talk about next week.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Goodbye then.
Bye
Have a
everyone.
nice weekend.
Bye.
Thanks
Thank you.
and goodbye.